channel. My name is Blanca and I'm back with another video. I wanted to talk about my college experience at Temple now that I am a senior and I've pretty much been at Temple for 4 years, and how I've liked Temple, what I didn't like, my major, and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. Alright, so first off, before I went to Temple, I went to Montgomery County Community College, and then I transferred over to Temple. I majored in early education, and I went and transferred over to Temple and continued along that path as an early education major, and it was great. And then my first semester at Temple, I found I was pregnant with my third son, and so I then had to change my major because I wasn't able to take I wasn't able to do the observations that were required for those classes. So I ended up having to change my major because I was so adamant on not having to miss a full semester, which would extend my graduation date. So I changed my major to human development and community engagement, which is essentially, with that degree, I would be able to work in different kinds of organizations as well as nonprofits, and I can also work in a child care setting or a children-based center. So I like that it was broad enough that I can expand on it if I want to, if I wanted to get my master's and concentrate on a specific field. I could do that with my master's. So that's what I liked about the major. Now, what I don't like is that graduating right off the bat in May, I was about to say June, I am overwhelmed with the amount of things or the amount of different fields that I can go into, but as well, I'm overwhelmed with all the options that I have, but then at the same time, because I don't have a concentration with my bachelor's, I now run the risk of not being able to find a job in my field right away, which is why I'm going to continue and further my education, but not in human development and community engagement. So I am currently applying to schools for my master's. I've applied to the Temple Master's Program, and I've also applied to Eastern's Master's Program, and then I've applied to a couple more. But that's what I don't like about my major. Now, as far as Temple is a really big school. It's right in the middle of North Philly, and if you're coming from a community college like I was, it's overwhelming. Like I was used to 10-15 students to class, knowing my professors and having a close bond and connection, having conversations with my professors. And I went from that to Temple and feeling like a number, because when I first started, I had lecture halls, which is usually your gen eds. Now, once you got closer to your like your methods classes, the classes that you're taking specifically for your major, then the class sizes become smaller, but they're like 35 students, and I still felt like I was a number. Maybe that's just me, but I just did not like that. I had really good relationship with my professors because I made the conscious decision to meet them and to have them know my name and to know my backstory and to actually have a relationship with my professor, and it made my experience a little bit better. But I didn't have to make much of an effort when I was at Montgomery, which was what I didn't like. So now, another thing I didn't like at Temple is how extremely difficult it was to get a hold of an advisor, and how difficult it was to get an appointment when you needed it. The financial services, like, forget about it. Like getting a line or getting a spot was nearly impossible. But when you did, you had to make sure you don't lose your spot, because God forbid when you're going to get another one, But I didn't like that. Kind of frustrating, and I didn't have that experience at Montco. So again, I'm like comparing the two, and they're two different types of schools. One is a 2-year school, and Temple is a 4-year school. So maybe that's a thing more students, longer wait time. So it's not really Temple's fault in that aspect, but that's just what I didn't enjoy. So I would say if you're like myself and you want a personal relationship with your professors and you don't want to feel like a number in a classroom, I would say if you're going to avoid your school, to pick a school that's not as big as Temple, which is what I plan on doing, because I kind of like the one-on-one interactions I could have with my professor. So there's that. Let me get away from the negatives. Some of the positives of Temple. I loved how there were so many things to do on campus, so many activities, so many clubs to join, so many food trucks, which were amazing. I've had a couple. Granted, they weren't the healthiest, but you know what? I didn't care. They were delicious. I love that there were so many things to do. Now, for me, I didn't get to fully enjoy that because I was a commuter and I was also working full-time, and I also had my kids. So I didn't get to fully experience the clubs on Temple and all the different activities, but I wish I would have. So if you have the opportunity to join clubs at Temple, there's so many different clubs, and there were clubs for my specific major, and I'm sure there would be there's others for different majors, which is another thing I loved. And then also their disability, I guess, program at Temple is phenomenal. I love it, only because I have a couple of friends who have certain disabilities, and I've been able to join some of their clubs that fit around my schedule, and I've been able to meet with some of the faculty in there and how many resources there are for people who have ADHD, ADD, maybe autism, whatever their disability may be. There was a resource for them, and teachers or professors accommodated them. So that was great. I love that they had those wonderful resources. So that was great. Another thing I loved about Temple was how close it was to everything. So again, I said it's in the middle of North Philly. So you had all of Broad Street, which has tons of stuff, and then you're right there to Center City or whatever those areas are, because I never go down there, so I wouldn't know. But it's close to all of those things. It's close to the train, so the proximity to everything I'm sure would be ideal for anyone. I mean, I didn't get to enjoy it as much, like I said, because I was rushing from class to work to kids. But if that's something you're into and you want to have everything around you, and I have the train right there, I'm sure you'd love it, because who doesn't want close proximity to like everything? I mean, for real. Now, all in all, Temple was great. It wasn't the school for necessarily me, because like I said, I like the small environment. So remember, if you're out there applying to like master's program and you're considering Temple, remember that you need to decide what kind of schools that you want. What are the things that is a deal breaker for you in a school? Because one of the deal breakers for me was, now that I know, is how big it is, and I'm not a fan of how big it is. So that's one thing that didn't work for me. That is definitely a deal breaker, and that I would prefer a smaller school, and that's what I plan on searching for. So just make sure you are conscious of all those things that goes into applying to a school, even if it's a bachelor's, even if it's a master's, all of those things, so you don't waste your time transferring to different schools. Because another thing is, when you transfer to schools, some schools may not accept all of your credits, which was my issue, which is why it took me so long to graduate. You have to think about all these things, and to remember, this ain't high school. It ain't free. All these classes you paying for, they're very expensive. Now, granted, Temple is one of the least expensive universities in Pennsylvania, so that's a bonus. But that doesn't mean you can take any classes willy-nilly, or transfer your major, or change your major willy-nilly, because it's going to get very expensive. Let me just leave it at that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was pretty short. I just thought I would share my experience at Temple and what I liked and what I didn't like. It's a great university. I'm not here to like downplay Temple. It's great. It just wasn't the right one for me, but it may be the right one for you. So that's why I said make sure you know what you want in your university and what you would like to get involved in, because those are very important depending on the person. So yeah, so again, I hope you guys like this video. Please don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me at A Perfectly Imperfect Mom on Instagram. I post a lot more there than I do here, only because this platform is kind of new to me, so I'll get the hang of it nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.